Hello everyone, this is ET Studios and welcome to our first episode of Kerbal Quest. Today I'm going to be doing a Kerbal Space Program playthrough in career mode, and we're going to start with a career called YouTube Kerbal Quest. I apologise if my voice is a little bit different today. Let's actually keep the standard Kerbal flag because this is after all the Kerbal Quest. We'll keep the difficulty on normal because I'm not that experienced in the game, and let's go. So like I was saying, my voice is slightly different today. I apologise, I am a bit sick. So let's start off by checking our missions in our mission control. We've got launch our first vessel, which we will accept, and orbit Kerbal, no. Gather scientific data from Kerbal. That'll work. Let's start building our first vessel. So we've got our command pod, and that always important. I'll grab some mystery goo containers as well, just because science. And we'll grab engine. That should be good. Let's save this. Alright, now we're out on the launch pad. Let's take our first flight. But before we do, let's quickly grab a crew report for some science. Save that. We'll quickly do a mystery goo experiment. Save. EVA. And this technically means we're flying, so we'll do that. EVA. We will collect the data from there. We will now board the craft, and then we shall take off. But before we do, I almost forgot to change our staging, so our parachute doesn't deploy at the same time as the engine, because that could be problematic. And let's go. Flying up through the atmosphere, engine cuts out. We are slowing down. We'll do another crew report. Flying up high. 3 sites. And we'll do another mystery experiment. And that's 7 science. Let's save that. And let's head down to Kerbal again. We'll deploy our parachute now. It won't fully deploy yet, but it will once we get under 1,000 meters. And let's just quickly put this at 4 times speed. And there we go, we have successfully launched our first craft into the, well, not very far atmosphere. And we'll bring it down nice and slowly. Hopefully the engine won't explode. We're going a little bit too fast, but it should be fine. And there we go, we have successfully landed. And there we have it, everyone. We have successfully gathered a load of science. So total 32, which is a very decent amount for our first flight. And our crewman has gained XP, and we've collected all the things that we possibly could. So let's see what we can spend this on. So now we're in our research and development area. We can get our basic rocketry, engineering, and we have a little bit more science to spend. So what should we do? Should we do general rocketry, stability, or survivability? And I think if we're going to try and exit the atmosphere of Kerbal, we definitely need this one first. So let's grab that, and we'll get the rest of the science from these missions to come for these. So we've successfully launched our first vessel and gathered scientific data. So let's get these to escape the atmosphere. And we'll start off by getting out new engines and fuel tanks to take us up there. So I think 3 fuel tanks will be fine. Let's also just take this off and add our... We don't think I'll need any more parachutes, but what we will need is a heat shield, because we don't want to burn up in the atmosphere, and we also need something to decouple our stages with. Let's attach our liquid fuel engine there, and have another decoupler over here, and attach our first booster there. That should be perfect to take us into a respect just above the atmosphere launch. So let's do that. Okay, now we're on the launch pad. We can launch our new vessel into orbit. So a little bit of a boost from that previous engine. Oh dear. We appear to have slight problems with our vehicle. And I want to play this without reverting any flights. We're going to have to play this almost in a hardcore way, so we don't have to... So we do have to worry about losing money if we crash. So let's slow us down, and hopefully we can save this part of the vessel. I'll splash it into the ocean, and just before I do, I will get stability assisters, slowing us down. Bring us down for a nice controlled landing. Not too worried about the Kerbal at this stage. I'm more worried about trying to land this, because we'll safely be able to save the Kerbal. Or not. That was interesting, to say the least. Like I said, I don't want to do anything like reverting unless I realise I've done something wrong and I want to change it. So we won't be doing too much reverting. So Space Center, can't revert now. Okay, so we had some slight design issues with our first rocket here. This didn't give us enough thrust, so let's delete that. This gives us 162, and this gives us 197, and it burns, I think, for a bit of a longer time. So let's put that there. Let that fire. See if we can get into space like this. So let's save and launch this vessel. Fuel, got a lot more burn time in this engine, so we should be fine. We'll enable stability control for now. Look. And we've made it into space. Unless this thing explodes. Cool. Cool. Now we've ejected that, we should be fine. Everything's still intact and we're on the way to space. We'll do one here and one once we get there. 9 science. And there we go, everyone. We have successfully made it into space. So we'll do another one of these. Collect 10 science. And crew report 5 science. So now we're just heading up to our apoapse over here, which is actually really high. Slowing down to reasonable speed. We're going to keep at this angle so we don't burn up in the atmosphere. Coming in at a very high speed. Slowing down to a decent speed that we'll be able to land with once we eject the parachute. Let's jettison the heat shield, which didn't jettison because we were going at high speed and it kind of hooked onto us. So once we get to the lower altitude, that should fall down and explode and look pretty cool. But this should have given us a decent amount of... There we go. And... boom. But it's still falling. Wow. That was a pretty spectacular fall. Getting down to the ground, slowly. And there we go, successful mission number 2 as we gently land on the floor. So that was a very successful mission. Considering our last attempt at it, it was incredibly successful. We have gained a total of 54 science, which is great. We got refunded for a lot of the parts, and we have an XP gain on that crew member. So let's spend this science on... What should we send it on? I think we should go straight for probes, because we need to get things into space and we don't want them to all, like, all the Kerbals to die, because that would be problematic. This will be spending most of our science though, so maybe we should go for something else in the meantime. For example, this rocketry. So we'll do that, and then next time we get enough science, we will use the... we'll spend them on the probes. So let's actually go and check on our mission control. So we have successfully done our launch first vessel, escape in the atmosphere, and gather scientific data from Kerbal. Orbit Kerbal may be a bit difficult, and I think we should do that with a probe rather than with a person, because it could end in catastrophic failure. We need to test. We could test things. This could be our testing stage. Test a heat shield in flight over Kerbal and test a stack decoupler. So, our new engines are available to us. Well, we could launch to a different area and go in a slightly different direction to gather science. So let's do that. Launch. So we're going to go in this general direction so we can have science over the sea rather than have science over the grasslands, so we have more science to collect. Having to keep it over this way so we don't fall over too hard. So we've tipped over, but can we make it to the required altitude? We need to be at 35,000. Well, that doesn't look like it's going to happen. So let's twist ourselves around and do another quick burn to get ourselves to 35,000. Appalaps 43. Perfect. Once we get into that general area, we will detach it. There we go. Tested. We have successfully tested the decoupler. Great. Let's collect some science. Cool, +2 science, and crew report +4. Great. And now we're falling back down to Kerbal. Slowing us down to a decent speed. And there goes our second stage. By heat shield. And in the water it goes. And there we go, we have successfully landed in the ocean. Let's do an EVA report while we're here. And to collect the data, board, and do another crew report. Save and recover. I could have done a mystery go. Never mind. There we go, everyone. I've collected successfully another 53 science, which means we have enough for our new probes, our batteries, and our new fuel tanks. No, storage units, and new science. So let's research that. And I think that'll conclude episode 1 of our Kerbal quest. So thank you everyone for watching, and I will see you in the next episode.